Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today, I Snapped at Karen. After that, a bottle of water. After that, Entitled Mom tries to take free Subway sub after lying. After that, the most degrading encounter I have ever had. And after that, last day of retail, we receive a customer from heck. Now, Karen assured me we would not reach 1,000 thumbs up on this video, so please prove her wrong by smashing that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day.
And if you'd like a custom greeting from Karen, visit Mr. Reddit on Fiverr, link below.
I snapped at Karen. Let me start off with the fact I have been skateboarding for well over 15 years, and anything that could happen at a skate park I have probably seen happen, from super awesome cool tricks to pot smokers, fights, overall counterculture debauchery, and a fair few entitled parents who think their little angels could do no wrong. As I have been growing older and more experienced, two major things can go wrong at a skate park to cause injury. First, going bigger and higher than your personal skill level. Second, small, unsupervised kids being oblivious to the dangerous, fast-paced environment around them, inevitably causing a last-second ditch effort to not literally plow them over and send them straight to the emergency room. A counter-argument to the last statement might be to watch closer to these obviously more vulnerable people. In all honesty, that works a vast majority of the time. Small kids are unpredictable by nature. Combining this with a dangerous environment can cause chaos with a very short time to react to bursts. That being said, let's get to the entitled parent I'm going to call Karen from here. It's about 4:30 p.m. in central US at a skate park with a full-time dedicated security detail. This park is a part of a much larger complex of parks in the area that has been privately funded. I'm with a couple of friends and the skate park is very busy. It's the first nice Saturday where everything is dry and the sun is out and warm and not a cloud in the sky after 2 weeks of constant rain. I'm a local at this park and know at least 10 to 15 other locals by name or nickname. Due to the nice day and beautiful weather, randoms decide it's time to leave the nest for the afternoon and visit the local parks. Brat number 1 is on a skateboard. Brat number 2 is on a Walmart-bought Razor scooter. At first, I am paying them no mind. They're not bothering me or anyone I am with. As time goes on, the two Brat brothers are increasingly annoying some of the younger locals who voice their discontent. A couple more incidents of them being told to not snake cut off other people. Brat 1 says in a very arrogant tone,
"That's my brother you're talking to,"
at one of the locals. This is where I felt it necessary to now voice my discontent, as I think they are in the wrong and I don't want two brothers picking a fight. I told Brat 1 that Brat 2 needs to watch out for other people. Brat 1 stuck his nose up at me. I shrugged this off. I would have done the same thing if a strange man told me something like that at his age. I'm not an authority figure, he doesn't have to listen to me, and I get that. At one point, one of the brats decided to sit down and lay on a ramp that is skated on very frequently. This caused not only myself, but a couple of the local kids to say something. The brat moves deeper into the pool area. It's about 100 yards of connected ramps going from 2 feet to 15 feet ramps. I am now keeping a closer eye on them due to these recurring issues with other kids their age. 15 minutes or so pass, and I'm going for a trick at full speed, rolling into part of the 8-foot section from above. Brat number 2 was down there, headed towards the shallow end. I feel it's safe to continue with my trick attempt. Right as I've crossed the point of no return, on rolling into this very steep ramp, the brat does a 180 on me and turns back towards the deep end, causing me to kick my board away, slam shoulder first into the opposite part of the half pipe, and loudly and colorfully yell at him to watch out, the only time I used profanity in this entire situation. Brat 1 is now helping Brat 2 climb out of the 10-foot section because they do not want to cross my path again, and also accusing me of not watching out. I know you're not talking to me. Brat 1.
"Yes, I am talking to you. You almost hit my brother."
You two have been constantly in the way all day. I have been skating longer than you've been alive. If I wasn't watching out, you'd have a broken arm, or worse right now. So shut your mouth. I am very angry at this point and want nothing to do with these kids, and I'm being very vocal about it. I do not enjoy yelling at kids. It does not make me feel like a big man, only a jerk. Skate parks are dangerous enough without having to dodge unpredictable kids. After this exchange of words, they run off to Mama Bear. I say to myself, "Go on! Tell your mom! I'll yell at her too." I am livid by this point and honestly just want to skate. Sure enough, within a minute or two, Karen comes stomping over to me, all huffy and puffy.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Tries to get in my way. No! I dodge and roll into the 8-foot halfpipe. I tell her this because I know what she's trying to do, and I do not want this confrontation. So I go to the other side of the 8-foot halfpipe so she cannot get in my face or touch me. Pulling a full entitled parent move I've seen before when somebody else had to deal with this scenario. She sits on the obstacle I have been skating for the last hour or so, where the brats have routinely been snaking people. Karen.
What gives you the right to talk to my kids like that?
Me, now furious at the situation and going to snap, not wanting to deal with this after already having told her no, I do not want to talk to her. I laid into her loud enough that she couldn't get a word in without screaming over me. Your kids are in the way and creating a dangerous environment for themselves and everyone around them by being oblivious to the flow of the skate park. I am not responsible for their safety and should not be expected to be watching your dumb kids. Karen, now screaming back at me.
But they're my kids.
I cut her off before she could say another word. I don't care. I do not care if they are your kids.
But I care.
If you care, then you should watch them closer. Their safety is your responsibility, not mine. I should not feel obligated to care for out-of-control brats you decided to have. I've been skating longer than they've been alive, and to make me supervise your brats is not okay. Karen is clearly shocked at this point and has no words for me. She decides to scurry off to the fat security guard they have stationed at the gate, who is usually only looking up from Candy Crush to yell at teenagers for vaping or smoking cigarettes. I explained the situation to the security guard in a calm voice after she managed to hobble over me, siding with me and talking with a couple other parents of locals I know. She only said to bring any issues like that to security first. I agreed and went back to skating. Karen and her brats disappeared after this. Next we've got a bottle of water. Backstory. A few weeks ago, I started working at a skating rink and make minimum wage, so it's a pretty low-key job. At my interview, my manager told me I don't make enough to have to deal with crazy people, so if I ever encounter one, I can just go and get someone to deal with them. Important later. On to the story. So this just happened about 2 hours ago. To set the scene, I'm working the register in the cafe, and it's about 20 minutes till the end of skating session, aka in 20 minutes everyone has to get off so I can clean. I'm finishing up giving 3 little nice kids their ices, and then I turn to the register where a Middle Eastern woman, entitled Mom, is waiting. I couldn't tell her age, but she's probably around her 40s. I smile and greet her with a simple hello, and then this happens. Entitled Mom.
Water.
She said it in a cold tone, but me, being my nice self, gave her the benefit of the doubt, thinking maybe English isn't her first language, which was the case for many of our guests there today, and she didn't know how to ask for it in any other way. I just smile. Me. Okay, did you want a cup? Or entitled Mom cutting me off.
A bottle of water.
Now at this point, I knew she was being rude on purpose. She had a glare permanently on her face and just gave off a bad vibe. Not to mention the way she just spoke to me as if I were a 5-year-old. I just grit my teeth and force a smile. Me. Okay, $2.50. She then proceeds to throw a $10 bill at me. She didn't try to hand it to me. She literally flicked it in my general direction, and it ended up swerving and landing on the counter close to her. At this point, I realize she's trying to start something up, and I again do not get paid enough to deal with that, so I simply walk away. I go back into the kitchen where my coworker was making food, and since he's a team lead, I ask him if he can go help her. I also repeated exactly what she said and how she threw the money at me. Coworker goes to cash her out and give her the bottle of water, and all of a sudden she starts yelling at him, demanding to know my name. He, being the cool guy he is, pretends he doesn't know who was up there and doesn't give her my name. He then starts to walk back to the kitchen, but the entitled mom follows him, coming behind the counter and saying,
"Where is she? I want to know her name. Let me see her."
My coworker puts his hands up to block her from coming any further and starts ushering her back from behind the counter. She then proceeds to jolt backwards, hitting her arm on a hanging board that we use to display cotton candy bags, and starts yelling about how,
"He just pushed me. He assaulted me. Someone get the manager."
My coworker is a bit of a hothead, so he curses her out a little before the security guard steps in. Turns out he had seen the whole thing, and he begins trying to calm her down so as to not cause a scene. Keep in mind, the rink had 4 birthday parties going on, and it was full of small kids. Finally, my general manager hears of the commotion and comes over to get everyone's side of the story. After the lady tells her side of how I supposedly was the rude one and left her money on the counter / refused to serve her, and my coworker supposedly assaulted her, she is then escorted outside by the security guard. My general manager listens to my side as well as my coworker and agrees that he just saw what happened on the cameras in the office and believes us over her. Also, he told us that she is known for causing problems. I guess her daughter used to work there, and she knows one of the managers, so she basically thinks she owns the place. Suddenly, the security comes back in and tells my coworker that the entitled mom has called the police and wanted to press charges for assault. We all knew that he didn't even touch her, so we just waited for the police to arrive and helped the customers that were in line behind her. After a few minutes, the police arrive, and my general manager shows them the camera footage of what happened. They can clearly see that she was lying, so they're all outside trying to get the lady to drop the matter, because if anyone would get in trouble, it would be her for lying to the cops. Sure enough, she gives up, and my general manager lets her know that she is not welcome back. He then relays this to us, saying that she's on the trespass list, and if she comes back, we are to immediately call the cops. I was just shocked. I've been reading this subreddit for about 9 months now, but I haven't had a story of my own until today. Sorry if it feels rushed. I just wanted to write everything down while it's still fresh in my mind. All in all, I'm just glad they were finally able to get rid of her after she's been terrorizing them for years now. Next we've got Entitled Mom Tries to Take Free Subway Sub After Lying. So I got a job at my uncle's Subway, and for a while it was going pretty good. So a couple days ago, this mom and her kid walk in, and this mom looks angry and was dragging her kid in and sits him down on the table. Then she comes to me and was like, don't remember her exact order. So Entitled Mom was like,
"I want a 12-inch tuna sandwich with Italian bread, cucumber, olives, and mayo."
Me, okay, and do you want it toasted?
"Didn't you hear me? I said..."
Insert original order, cause I'm too lazy.
"Did you hear me saying I want it toasted?"
Me, sorry. Then I do what she asked and bring it to the cash register. Now the kid starts whining, saying he wants his sub already. Me, do you want chips or a drink? Entitled Mom,
"For the last dang time, did you hear me say I wanted it?"
Me, I have to ask, sorry. I'm trying to keep a smile on my face.
"I want your manager, now!"
Me, there's only me and another kid in the back.
"What kind of establishment is this?"
Me, I can give you his number.
"I know the owner. I'll have you fired for insubordination."
Me, trying to hold my laughter, cause my uncle is the owner.
"I called the owner. He said you're fired."
My uncle walks in as she said this. Uncle, what happened? Entitled Mom,
"This kid was just rude and bad, so I got him fired."
Uncle, you know I'm the owner / manager, and I didn't fire anyone.
"Well then, I demand I get the sandwich for free because of your rude employees."
Uncle, I will check the camera footage, and if what you're saying is true, you will get the sub for free, and an apology.
"You know what? I'll forgive him and pay."
By the way, I was just quiet during this. Uncle, no, I insist.
"It's fine."
Knowing she's done for. She hands me a 20 and said keep the change, took the sandwich and her kid and left the store. After that, I told Uncle what had happened, and he believed me and gave me a 10 and said get back to work. Next we've got the most degrading encounter I have ever had. For context, I work in a hotel pool. We get a lot of people coming to the hotel to come to our pool, and it's more of a mini water park. There are slides, a splash park, multiple pools, and hot tubs. So one rule we need to enforce is appropriate swim attire. It makes sense. We are a pool, so no street clothes, pants, sweaters, etc. allowed in the water. It messes with our chemicals and our filters. I come in for my evening shift, and I'm talking with my coworkers, and a kid comes to pool area 1 wearing a tank top, shorts that look like pajama/sweat material, and you can clearly see the bra strap. Self-explanatory. This is not appropriate swim attire. A coworker goes and speaks with the kid and asks if they have anything to change into. They don't, so they can't swim. Kid just got out, no problem. A few minutes later, entitled mom comes up to me.
So, you kicked my daughter out for her clothes?
Me. I'm sorry, but we have a no street clothes policy.
They aren't street clothes.
I'm sorry, but we do have a no cotton policy. It can't be in the water.
She doesn't have anything else. She has been swimming since this afternoon, and now you kick her out?
Me. I'm sorry, maybe it was missed. We have a no cotton policy.
Do you have a manager? I want to speak to someone.
My supervisor is in pool area 2 if you would like to go speak with him.
Yes, I do.
She leaves and I radio my supervisor, telling him that she is on the way. She doesn't go see him right away, and he comes over to pool area 1 and asks me about it. I tell him about it, and he says he will go back to pool area 2 so entitled mom can find him. Instead of following what I said, entitled mom, now with entitled dad, go to the front desk and talk to the supervisor there. As I was heading back to pool area 2, the family stops me in the hallway and starts shouting at me. Entitled dad.
We just went and talked to the supervisor, and she said there was nothing wrong with what she was wearing. You aren't telling other kids they can't swim because of clothes. Why are you picking on her?
He was leaning forwards and pointing his finger in my face, and that's really intimidating coming from a big man to an average-sized woman. Entitled dad.
We talked to her, and she said there is nothing wrong with what my daughter is wearing.
That's when it clicked. He said, her. I tried stammering out a question if they talked to a woman, but was so flustered I could barely get a word in over his shouting. At a pause, I was finally able to say, even though my voice was breaking, you need to talk to my supervisor. He's in pool area 2.
Well, it was her on your radio who said it was fine.
Then I realized that my radio was going off, and it was my supervisor and the front desk staff talking. I walk away and head back to pool area 2 and start having a bit of a meltdown, as entitled dad was so aggressive and disrespectful, all because their brat didn't bring a swimsuit. I talked to various managers about it, and they said they would deal with the rest and I can go take a break and calm down. After my break, my supervisor comes to talk and says that they spoke to the family again and they were rude to the managers too. One of the managers was making a gift basket for them, but my supervisor stopped them as he said they didn't deserve it after being so rude. So, kid was allowed to swim, but otherwise, they got nothing. I do love my supervisor, but really hate people like this. Next we've got last day of retail, receive a customer from heck. Today is my unofficial last day at my cell phone store. I have a week of paid time off that ends Friday, so that is my official last day. I've been coasting all week by just sitting around looking pretty since I wasn't making commission. Today, right after we open, we get a customer who I can now only describe as the customer from heck. Customer comes in with 2 kids in tow, who immediately jet to phone displays and start playing. My coworker greets him and asks if there's anything we can do, setting up our normal interaction questions. Customer wants to switch phone carriers and is looking at deals. No problem. We have deals for everyone. Only customer doesn't know what he wants. He wants his contract paid out from his current service, but he doesn't qualify for that through us. She spends 2.5 hours going through all possibilities for his family. He is an adamant know-it-all who really knows nothing about technology. So, being good retail drones, we all smile and nod at his knowledge. Now, in order to get service with new contracts, a customer must perform a credit check. This determines how much a customer pays out of pocket up front. No sales rep should ever make a promise of no money down until the check is completed. My reps know this. They would never tell someone otherwise. So we complete the credit check and customer has required down payments on his devices. He begins berating my rep because of him having to pay. He was under the assumption, and I know it was assumed on his end because I was on the floor 20 feet away the entire transaction, that he qualified for no payment. Then became the dance of getting the account number from his current provider. He's never had one. Why would he need it? So my team lead steps in and tries to de-escalate the situation and informs the customer that he needs to get it in order to keep his numbers when he switches over. The following exchange occurred before I stormed out. Team lead: if you don't get the correct number, it delays the port for your phones and you'll have to be here longer. Customer:
I'm not driving over there, and I don't get a bill sent to me, so you'll have to figure it out.
Team lead: well, since it's your account and your info, you'll have to give them a call to get the number. Customer throws phone across the counter at team lead and rep.
You call! I'm not talking to them. That's your job.
Team lead takes a step back to avoid being hit by the phone sliding towards her. Phones fall off of the employee side of the counter. No, sir. I'm not required to call for you. Dial 611 from your device and it will connect you to the care line for your provider. Rep, I'm going to step back for a second. Customer:
forget this. I have things to do. I'll be back, and I better have no money down. I was promised.
Rep: no, sir. We never agreed about down payments until your credit application was complete. We cannot do anything about those payments. That is all based on your credit class. If you feel this isn't the deal for you, please feel free to not come back. We would like you to be comfortable with your decision, but not if you're going to yell at us and accuse us of things we didn't do. Team lead coming back onto the sales floor. Throwing your device was very uncalled for. If you make a decision after you've calmed down, then please come back and we would be willing to help you. I left the floor after that to go calm my nerves. My retail filter has flown away this week, so I was going to blow up at his arrogance. But my coworkers have been trying to be better at not letting rude people get to them. Customer eventually stormed out after conceding to call his current carrier himself, but could not talk to anyone without making a payment on his account because it was past due. I really hope he comes back today in a bad mood. My manager was also sick of the arrogance and rudeness, so I will put him in his place. And shoutouts to our re-generals of the day: Connor Wagner, RX Scorpion, Scarlett Hathaway, Milo Lewis, and Chissy Spider. Become tomorrow's re-generals by leaving as many reads as you can in the comments below.